Hey guys, it's so good to have your company here once again on my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel. I hope you are well and I hope you're having a lovely week and looking forwards to, of course, the weekend, or of course just looking forwards to whatever day it is, depending on whenever you're watching this tutorial. Now, when it comes to this tutorial, we are going to be, I'm going to show you something that I've made, and I thought what I'm going to do, I really like it. It's really pretty, it's really elegant. It's turning something Christmassy into something wedding wise. But I've made a box, so what we're going to do within this video, just keep it relatively short compared to the last one, and we're going to redo it, but we're going to do it onto a 4x6 card blank. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you just shortly what and how to do it. I'm going to show you what I've made, and then what we're also then going to do is, we'll show you what we've used as well. So all of those that still continue to subscribe here on my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel, thank you so much as always. And for those as well that hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I pop a new tutorial up, thank you once again as well. And those that do, of course, like to give me the thumbs up and even leave comments, thank you so much as well. Hopefully you'll do the same off the back of this one here. But I think we're just going to dive straight in and we're going to show you what it is that I made. Now, this is what I made here. Now, when it comes to this, it is using our bow die, elegant vintage bow die from the 12 Days of Christmas. I've used my special papers too, some red and some gold cardstock, but I've done it into a 4x6 box. Now we will cut and score the box to talk you through the measurements of that, but then you can decorate it yourself, the sides that is, but we're going to replicate this top bit, but it's going to go onto a 4x6 card instead. Now we've gone in with a number of different items. Now this is the main one. So this is your 12 Days of Christmas. So that is your vintage Christmas bow, and that is the main centerpiece of our box, or what we're going to do being our card. The little butterflies are from our timeless butterfly set that you can see here. The diddy little sentiment, which says Bonds of Love, is from our vintage rose. So that's where I've got the little sentiment from. And then when it comes to the actual paper, I've used my special papers. The second edition is what I've used. So we'll go through that one just in a moment as well. So those are the main items that I used for the actual box itself. Now I'm going to set these ones out the way for now. Now what I've used as well, so this isn't actually our cardstock. What I've done is all the other elements that I use are Crafter's Companion. Now this is a this is a red smooth cardstock, but this is from Stix2. I will link it in the description. I like using it because it works and it complements our linen cardstock and our texture cardstock, because sometimes you want that smoothness. Theirs is completely smooth and it's a delight to actually use. And then when it comes to this card, although us at Crafter's Companion we've got our linen card, this is also from Stix2, but it's a little bit more linen / very light hammered effect. I know it's going to be hard to see the texture. Technically it's linen, but it's also got that kind of sketchy fibre feel when it comes to the actual cardstock as well. So these are what I'm using from Stix2, and then when it comes to the actual satin gold, I'm going to be using our luxury gold cardstock, and I'm going to use the mirror, no I'm not, I'm going to use the satin gold. You can, if you want to, use, if you got a hold recently, depending on date wise of when you're watching this tutorial, if you got our A5 card blocks, you know, of our gold and silver, we done our mirror matte, we done our shedless glitter, that was it, shadless glitter, we've done our mirror, and then we've done the matte as well, gold and silver. You could always use that if you want to. So everything Crafter's Companion, cardstock, the adhesives, as always, will be Stix2, and everything will be linked in the description as to where I can possibly find it. That being said, let's start off. Now, I tell you what, let's actually start with the box. So as I said a moment ago, what I'll do is we'll kind of cut and then score, so we can kind of, as if we're going to construct the box. You can do that at home and then you can decorate. I'll show you the side panels as to what I've done, should you want to replicate it. And in actual fact, let's bring it in, because what I've done, and I've made the box lid a little bit shorter, which I'll talk you through in a moment. So I've decorated the sides of the box here with the pattern paper, the red and then the gold, and I've done it all the way round. But because it's going to be a wedding box, to make it even more luxurious, I've gone in and I've just matte and layered the red in the middle. And then when it comes to the box base, I've done the same. I've gone in just with red. So that on the top of the lid, I've gone in with pattern paper all the way round. Now the box base, I've gone in with just the red cardstock all the way round. But then what I've done is the opposite, and that is, instead of putting the pattern paper on the outside, I've done it on the inside, just to mix it up that little bit as well. You could of course do that on the outside as well, or instead if you want, but that's entirely up to yourself. So it is true to size 4x6 box. So let's bring in the guillotine and let's bring in some of the cardstock. Now the base is 4x6, but it's actually 2 inches in depth. So when you're cutting your card, so you need to remember, so that's 4 inch, so you need +2 +2. So for that, what we're going to be needing is, of course, we're going to be needing 8 inch across, and then you've got your 6 inch +2 +2, so that's going to be 10. So we're needing cardstock that is 8 by 10 inches. So let's bring in our card, which is 10 by 8, and then of course we need another piece exactly the same. Both bits of cardstocks are exactly the same size, so that's 10 by 8. We do all the scoring, even although the box lid is shallower, we still do all the same cuts and scores. So we're going to go in with our score master here. Take one of the cardstocks, and remember the actual box base, and at the moment the box lid, we're going to start when it comes to the 2 inch. So that's short just now that you can see here, but at the moment we're just going to score and create as if that's 2 inch and that's 2 inch. So let's go into the box lid, and then we're going to score at 2 inch all the way round, 2 inch all the way round, 2 inch all the way round, and 2 inch all the way round. So that's my box lid. So let's set that out the way for a moment. And then we need to do the box base. So we're going up to the box base side. I find it hard to score upwards, so turn it around, and even although the numbers are upside down, it doesn't matter, as long as you're still scoring in the 2 inch mark on the box base side, it's going to be absolutely fine. So let's score all of these. I'm going to move that out the way, and then let's just fold and burnish. So let's fold across our score lines. So nothing changes with the box base. It's 8 by 10. We've scored at 2 inch all the way round on the box base side. And then what we can do is let's just go assemble it, cut our little notches out. Now, don't you assemble your box lid and base until you've decorated it. It's a lot easier to decorate and then assemble. However, I'm just wanting to show you how I created the box size. So let's bring that in, and then let's just take a quick bit of tape. So I'm just going to then bring that into here. Now when it comes to construction, you know I like to use my tacky glue. However, what I am doing is I'm doing this for speed, so I can show you how to do the box. and then we can get onto the actual card itself. So let's bring that together, and then that together. So there's our 4x6 box base that is 2 inch in depth. So if I bring that in, that is our box base that we've got done here. So there's your box base. So let's do the box lid. So we're going to fold and burnish to start with. I like to fold and burnish to start with. So let's fold all these in, burnish, and fold in and burnish. Now, because we want to make the actual box lid just a little bit shallower, and it's actually 1.5 inches. Yeah, I thought it was. It's 1.5 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off our 1/4 inch all the way round. So I'm going to come along and I'm just going to come down to the 7.5. So I'm coming down 1/2 inch, cut, turn, and then once again let's come down 1/2 inch, cut, and we're doing that on all 4 sides. Come down 1/2 inch, cut, and then come down 1/2 inch cut. Now it's imperative that you do that on all 4 sides. Don't just take 1 inch off the top and 1 inch off the bottom, because then that affects the layout and the positioning of your score lines. So that's, for me, the easiest way to make a shallower lid box. Score it the same way as the box base, but before you actually go to assemble it and decorate it, you just chop off how much you want from all 4 sides. So now that we've done that, what we can do is the same. So let's just chop these little notches out as if we're creating our box lid. Bring these bits together. My personal choice, of course, would be tacky glue, but for speed, let's bring in our tape. Beautifully decorated first, then assemble, and then we can then fold that into there, and then into there, into there, and then into there. Press all them in. That's us now got our box lid with a little bit of a shorter lip at the top there. So if I bring this one in, you can see here that then fits all the way round. Beautiful box with the little 1/2 inch lip all the way round, and just so you could see, and it even fits on that one there that you can see. So that's how I done the box for our beautiful wedding bow box. Now that I've done that, let's dive in, make the actual project, but we're going to be doing a card. So 4x6 card blank. I'm going to use that textured card from Stix2. You could always use our 6x6 ivory cards that we do, and then just chop it down to 4 inch. So let's bring my cardstock into here. So what I'm going to do is take my, where am I, 6, it's not that I need, it's my larger card, which is here, which is 8x8, and I'm going to chop it down to 4x6. So I've got my card blank, and then let's bring that in to 4x6. And the reason I hesitated is because I wanted to do a top fold. So that's me now got my top fold, and because that was just a little bit over 8x8, it means I can do 2 top fold 4x6 cards, or of course you can open them that way that you can see here. So that's me now got my card blank. I can move that out of the way and use for another time. So I'm going to give that a burnish. So now that I have got that, so that is what we're going to decorate. Instead of the box lid, we're going to decorate the front of the card. So let's bring in my special papers here. And I'm going to replicate it exactly as I've done within the box lid here. So I know I've got some excess pattern paper from the box. So if I delve in to here, and then let's take, maybe I don't have excess, maybe I used it all, but now I know I've still got one sheet left. What are the chances of finding that exact sheet that I used? Let's see. Let's see if we can do that. So it must be round about here with all the wood paneling. Let me move that and that. Let's see if it's towards here. No. I want to try and keep it. There we go. Oh no, it's not. Because I've got a couple of them. That's it. Is it? Nope, not that one either. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, there we go. I brought it to the top. Here we go. Oh no, it's not that one either. Oh well. Right, we're gonna use that. Actually, let's use that one. It's going to be ever so slightly different on the back. So it's not quite going to be exactly the same, but hey ho. Right. So we've got our bit of patterned paper, and I'm going to go in with my red, and I'm going to go in with my gold as well. So let's bring in our guillotine here. I'm going to do it so the woodwork panels, these are going to be going up and down the way. So let's take our pattern paper, and we're going to go 5.5 by 3.5. So it's going to be 5.5 by 3.5. Set that one out the way. Let's bring in our red. So this is going to be exactly 1/4 inch bigger. So let's go 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. That's going to give us our nice matte layer. And then our gold, that's going to be 3 3/4 onto the left hand side of the notch to 5 3/4 on the left hand side of the notch. That should give me a fine gold matte layer, which it does, that you can see here. And in actual fact, let's just trim my red ever so slightly, just so that we can see that gold just a little bit more. That's fine. I just need to trim a little section off the bottom. Like that. There we go. That's better. We've got a fine gold matte layer. And that can go there. And then that can go onto our card. So this is where that's going to be the front of the card, but we've got the front of the box, so either or. Let's bring our Gemini in. Move these bits out the way, bring these bits out the way, and then let's bring in the die. So we're going to use the bow die, and we're going to take the outer die, and we're going to do that within the ivory and the gold. So bring that and that in. So let's pop that one through here, like that, and run that one through. So I want to do that with the ivory and the gold exactly the same. So let's do the ivory first, and then let's take my masking tape, stencil tape, to tape that down. Now this will, as well note, it will cut through the 2 layers of card with the Gemini, but I do prefer to do it one at a time. Always have and always will. There's the occasional little exception where I'll maybe do 2 layers at once, but where possible, what we like to do is just do them individually. So let's take our bow die out here, and then let's do the same within the gold. Now we could have cut the decorative bow at the same time, because there's enough room on the Gemini Junior plates to have cut both, but because there's a lot of detail within the detailed bow, I want as much pressure to go on that bow itself and nowhere else. I don't want to share the pressure, I want it to go solely onto the detailed die cuts. So we will do a drop shadow, and that's going to be going on the front of our card. Let's take that off and bring in the detail die. So if we're then at this point, we're also going to do the detail die in gold, but we're also going to do it in the red smooth. So let's do that into the gold. And then we're going to line and then layer up. For this tutorial, because it was kind of last minute, I've not hooked up the other camera to the Gemini, but I'm just running it through the G2 for now. Let's take that one out. Let's take this out. Let's pop all these little bitties out. Such intricate detailed bows. And there is a few little nods to holly leaves in it. However, it's not really easy to see, so that's why you can get away with using it for other occasions. So tape that down, run it through. Now the outer die I could have actually got away with taking out my magnetic shim. The outer die would have cut absolutely perfectly with the 2 cutting plates and the frosted shim. The detail die I am using all layers because there's fine intricate detail. It's definitely worthwhile using all dies. So let's pop that out. Just a few little bits to pop out. So let's pop that out the way, that out the way. So if you've got your die tool, you can use your die tool for all the time that it takes to pop out with your poke tool. So there's all of that beautifully die cut. So you can see against, even just against the ivory, looks beautiful, or cream looks beautiful, but then so does the satin gold, but then so does the red on the gold. So you've got options, but we are going to drop shadow that into that, that into that. So before we go, let's do all of our stamping and die cutting at once. So I really want just a small butterfly for this one. So I'm trying to think exactly which one it was. You know, this isn't imperative if the butterflies don't match. It's just I like the actual shape and size of them, the ones that I used. So let's take, now I can't remember which one it was exactly that I used. So let's just grab any one, saying that, and I still can't decide on which one I want to grab. So let's take, come on Craig, make your mind up. Let's go in with that one. I'm going to go in with the small. I'm using the same 3. You can mix if you want to. I'm just using the same 3 butterflies to decorate. So if I run that one through, one after another, so pop that out. I think that was actually, yeah, it was the one that I actually used in the box lid. And run that one through. And then last but by no means least, the third one. If anyone wants to know, it's number 20. It's butterfly 20 that I'm using. So you can replicate it exact now that you know. So that's now the 3 butterflies done. Let me pop them back in there so they don't fall out. Let me pop this in so I don't lose. That was the bow from 12 Days of Christmas, vintage Christmas bow. There's that. And then let's bring in our sentiment. So let's bring those butterflies up to there. It's just nice to bring in something that's Christmassy, but you're able to use it out with Christmas. You know, because there is many things that you can absolutely do. It's about the colour. It's about the way you decorate it. It's about the look. Changing that look. So I've got a bit of scrap card now. For anyone who wants to know, that's 1/2 inch in thickness. And oh, that is absolutely perfect. Now what I am away to do is stick my head in the way, so you don't want to see above over my head. So I'm just wanting to kind of make sure that I'm lining it up here. Bring in my stamping platform. So I'm going to stamp and then trim. So I'm going to keep it lovely and fine with that noir black. And then we're going to press, and then we've got Bonds of Love. I know that's obviously hard for you guys to see, but we've got our sentiment. And I'll show you how I trim the edges when it's a larger strip of card. So let's take that out, and move that out of the way. It's all back down to the guillotine, as most things are. And then what I like to do, just wait to remind myself the actual, yeah, that one, no, what's that one? Right. So what I like to do, I wonder if we can see the edge of the plastic finger guard. So not the edge of the metal where my thumb is. So not the edge here, but the edge of the plastic. So this edge here. What I like to do is exactly where the edge of the black sentiment ends, basically. I like to line that up with that edge where my thumbnail is. So let's see if we can see that. So you can, there we go. We can just see as soon as the edge of that black line hits the end of that plastic guard, I cut, and then I turn it around and I do exactly the same. So I bring it along, so as long as, or as soon as, the black curve of that bee hits or touches the end of the plastic finger guard, I cut. And then that's how I get it perfect on each edge. If you want it wider, then maybe just go to the raised notch there. So you've got different options in how you start to layer it. But I do these layers individually. So I don't cut my mats and layers like I usually do, because I want a very, very, very thin layer. So I'm going to go onto my red card, and I'm using my tacky glue, and I'm giving myself a thin red layer. I'm going to let that grab for a second. Let me just trim that excess there for a moment. And then this time, all that I'm doing is I'm just trimming little and often until I kind of have the same depth at the edge. So just a fine slither here. So that's the right hand side. I'm happy with the right hand side. And then I'm going to do the same again. I know it's harder for you to see, certainly because it's such a thin layer. But then there we go, I've got my fine layer. And then we're going to replicate that once more with our gold. And we're doing exactly the same. So let's add our glue or our adhesive. We're going to give that a very fine gold layer. And you've got options if you want the gold layer thicker, or you want the red layer thicker, or both thicker, you can do that. But I really just want that delicate fine edge that we've got going on. Let that grab just for a few seconds more, because that's on a coated card. So therefore, let's bring in this bow and add our glue. So I'm just going to go round the edge here. I'm doing my drop shadow, so I hover and then I bring down to the bottom right hand corner, get that where I want, press, because I'm using my tacky glue, my craft glue. I'm just going to maneuver and press and hold that, and then what we can do, that's ready to cut. But I tell you what, let's do our bow, because this is what I say when I'm live on air all the time. When I'm live on air, you'll tend to see me using our tape runner or our dotty tape runner for things like this. Although do be careful with the dotty tape runner, because you've got your very delicate die cuts. So just be careful. You can absolutely use it, but just be careful that you don't pull and tear any edges. But when I'm at home and I've got more time, my go-to is the tacky glue with the intricate tip. It just means that I can sketch all the way around the back and all the way around like this. And then we're going to work our way down. If you've got our double-sided adhesive sheets, they're a great thing. Your adhesive sprays, they're a great thing. So you've got lots of different options out there. But my go-to is always my tacky glue. So if you've got our call-out tacky glue, you can use that. But when I'm at home, my adhesives of choice is our friends through in Gateshead, which are Stix2. So there we go. And then I'm going to, because it's on the satin card, I don't want any little excess bits to splurge through. So I'm going to tap off the back of my hand. If you don't like doing that, you can do it onto your glass mat or a craft mat if you want. But it's just to stop any bits splurging through and affecting the satin gold. So it's just manoeuvring it into place in the same way as the outer bow. I just pulled it down to the bottom right hand corner until I've got a very fine drop shadow layer. So once I'm happy with that, I've got the bow and you can see the gold just peeping out the edge. That I can have a play with later on and rub all the excess off my hand, but let's get a fair bit of that just now. And then let's bring back our sentiment. So let's trim little and often, like so, and then trim. I'm going to have to do another little slither, and then there we go, I've got my fine layered sentiment. What I am going to do as well, before we assemble it, let's do our insert. As I always say, my insert on my cards, I always do a matte and layer, and the layer that I do, or the matte and layer that I do, is always the darkest colour that I've used on the front. So in this case, it's going to be the red. I'm going to bring in some card. I'm going to bring, what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to come in first just now. I'm going to bring in a smooth ivory cardstock for the inside to write on, because I don't really want to use the luxury of that linen texture. So the inside of the card, or the card is 4x6, so let's do 3.5 by 5.5, and then let's bring in our red, and I'm going to do just under 3 3/4 by just under 5 3/4 to give me a little bit of a thinner red matte layer. Don't want it too thick. And then that's me got my card blank in my insert. I've got the front, my sentiment, my bow, and then I've got my butterflies as well. So move, move, and then let's bring these in here. And let's bring in my tape, which is also my go-to when I've got more time. Layer these ones up, and then this is how I decorate, exact same way within the box lid. Everything I've done here. The only additional things that I've then done is cut all the side panels using the same pattern paper to size, but to match the measurement sizes of the side panels. So that's into here. You can go one step further and start to do heat embossing, a little bit of your Midas ink pads. That sentiment would look lovely in like a gold emboss or a gold ink pad. So if I pop that into there, and there's my insert done. Let's bring all my layers in here. Now the pattern paper, the red, the gold, these are going to go on completely flat. The drop shadow of the outer bow, so the ivory and the gold, that's going to go onto foam pads. And then the decorative bow itself, that's going to go flat, but what you'll see is I'm only going to add some glue to the back of the centre knot of the bow, so we've still got a little bit of shapeage going. So let's layer these up. This would look lovely as well if you took your edge crimpler and ruffled up the edges and distressed the edges ever so slightly. So pokey tool, layering up. And for me, there's something, when it comes to wedding cards and you're using a luxury card, there's just something about the satin card. For anyone that's wondering, satin's matte cardstock. I call it satin card. So if you hear me say satin, I am just referring to matte cardstock. So there's our 4x6 card blank done, ready to decorate. So let's bring in the bow, and then let's go in with my foam pads. So this one, we're going to add our foam pads, but it's going to go on flat. So that can go into here and press. And then what we're going to do here in the centre of the bow, we're just going to add our glue into the centre, like that. Position that into where we need it, and then we're going to hold. And then what I am going to do is we're going to go like that with our sentiment. So I kind of want to lever that down. So I'm going to add a squiggle of glue and press that down. So essentially where my sentiment's going, you're not going to see the glue anyway, but your sentiment's going to cover it. And let's press. And the reason I do that is so that what we can do is we can come along and then we can shape the bow if we want. Let's once again come along. I do have, yeah, here we go. Smaller square pads. If I do that, and that. I'm going to then prise them off, and then that's going to go essentially where I popped the glue, and then I'm just going to make sure, there we are, it's there. Press, 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 and then let's take our 3 butterflies. So this one, I'm just putting a tiny little bit, and then I'm lifting the body or lifting the wings of the butterfly, because I only want the body of the butterfly to be in the glue so I can lift up. I'm then going to come along into here and do the same, like that. And then, so that butterfly's going that way, that one's going that way, because this middle one is going to be going that way. And I'm doing that on the corner of the sentiment, like that. So we've got butterfly going that way, butterfly going that way, and then next one up going back that way. Move that in, move that in. Let's just press that down because I've nudged it. And then there we go. We've taken the Christmas bow from our 12 Days of Christmas, and we've made it into what could be a wedding card, a small 4x6 wedding card. And this is off the back of what I've done today. So other than the pattern paper, pretty much identical, but I've done that into a box, how I showed you the skeleton of the box at the start of this tutorial. But what we've done is we've made it into 4x6 card. Now, because that is true 4x6 in size, if you'd trimmed this just a little bit smaller, even if about 1/4 of an inch smaller, that would fit in there. Okay, it would be two identical designs, but that would work really, really well. So you've got, you can see the card. So there's our card. So if I bring that in for you, Bonds of Love with the bow, with our blank insert ready for me to pop and insert in as and when I need. And then there is the box that I'd done previous. You can see here. So box, and then I just layered all the way around. So you have got best of both worlds on these ones here. There we go. So turning a Christmas related bow die into, well, non-Christmas really, and use it for different occasions. That one, if I had something like with on your wedding day, that kind of stamp, I would have used that. Wedding dies, anything like that, you can use that. Gems, pearls, ribbons, embellishments, you can go to town with all of those extra bits and pieces, but keeping it quite simple and minimal, as I do like to do, but turning a box that's 4x6 into a card, which is 4x6 as well. Right, additional items that what I used within those where possible, I shall link them in the description within this tutorial video, and of course you can still see lots more across on my Craiglairdcc Facebook page and Instagram as well, also Craiglairdcc, and yeah, have a little bit of fun every now and again across on TikTok as well, which funny enough, go figure, is Craiglairdcc. Thank you once again for watching this tutorial. As always, if you do ever make, whether you replicate what I've done, whether you change it up, when you post it on social, then do give me a tag. I always love to see exactly what you've done, so thank you so much. But until next time, we'll see you again right here on my Crafters Companion YouTube channel. Toodles!